Feeling a constant need for closeness, or do you tend to pull away when things get serious? Maybe you're the rare gem who feels comfortable with intimacy and independence. Welcome everyone to Dating with Attachment Styles. In the next 30 seconds, we're diving into the fascinating world of attachment theory to uncover if your dating patterns lean anxious, avoidant, or secure. Understanding your style and your partners can revolutionize your relationships. Stay tuned to unlock the secrets to healthier, happier connections. Today, we will talk about dating with attachment styles. Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Dating in the modern world can feel like a complex dance, full of unspoken rules, mixed signals, and often profound emotional vulnerability. For many, the patterns of attraction and interaction in romantic relationships seem to repeat, leaving a trail of similar heartbreaks or unfulfilled desires. What if there was a deeper, more fundamental framework that could explain these recurring dynamics? Enter attachment theory. Developed by psychologist John Bowlby and later expanded upon by Mary Ainsworth, attachment theory posits that the way we bond with our primary caregivers in infancy profoundly shapes our emotional blueprint for relationships throughout life. These early experiences cultivate distinct attachment styles that influence how we perceive intimacy, navigate conflict, express needs, and respond to closeness or distance in romantic partnerships. The secure attachment style, a foundation of trust and balance. The secure attachment style is often considered the ideal, serving as a benchmark for healthy relational functioning. Individuals with a secure attachment style typically had caregivers who were consistently responsive, sensitive, and available, providing a reliable, secure base from which to explore the world, and a safe haven to return to in times of distress. As adults, this translates into a deep-seated sense of self-worth and an innate trust in others' goodwill. Secure individuals are comfortable with both intimacy and independence. They can readily form deep emotional bonds without fear of engulfment, and they are equally at ease with spending time alone. Their communication is direct, honest, and open. They express their needs and feelings clearly, and they are adept at listening to and validating their partner's experiences. 2. The anxious preoccupied attachment style, a constant need for reassurance. Individuals with an anxious preoccupied attachment style often developed in environments where caregiver responsiveness was inconsistent, sometimes available and nurturing, sometimes distant or preoccupied. This unpredictability led to a learned strategy of hypervigilance and heightened efforts to seek connection and reassurance, believing that intense displays of need might elicit the desired care. As adults, this manifests as a profound fear of abandonment and an insatiable craving for intimacy and validation from their partners. Anxiously attached individuals tend to cling emotionally, often becoming preoccupied with their partner's whereabouts, feelings, and commitment. They may interpret small gestures of distance or independence as signs of rejection or disinterest, leading to heightened anxiety, rumination, and sometimes desperate attempts to re-establish closeness. 3. The dismissive avoidant attachment style, valuing independence above all. In stark contrast to the anxious style, the dismissive avoidant attachment style typically emerges from early experiences, where caregivers were consistently unresponsive, rejecting, or actively discouraged emotional expression and dependence. To cope, these individuals learned to suppress their emotional needs and develop a strong sense of self-sufficiency, often internalizing the belief that others are unreliable and that intimacy leads to pain or suffocation. As adults, dismissive avoidants value independence and self-reliance above all else. They are uncomfortable with emotional closeness and tend to distance themselves when relationships become too intimate or demanding. They often intellectualize emotions, downplay the importance of relationships, and may struggle to identify or express their feelings, both their own and their partners. 4. The fearful avoidant, disorganized. Attachment style, a conflicted dance. The fearful avoidant, sometimes called disorganized attachment style, is perhaps the most complex and challenging of the insecure styles. It typically develops in environments where caregivers were a source of both comfort and fear, perhaps unpredictable, frightening, or inconsistent in their responses, oscillating between loving and terrifying behaviors. This creates a profound internal conflict, a strong desire for intimacy coupled with an equally strong fear of it. As adults, fearful avoidants are caught in a push-pull dynamic. They crave closeness and connection, but are simultaneously terrified of getting too close, fearing rejection, abandonment, or even harm. 5. The dance of attachment: how styles interact in dating. Understanding individual attachment styles is crucial, but the true complexity emerges when different styles interact in a romantic partnership. Certain combinations can create predictable, often challenging dynamics. The classic anxious avoidant trap is a prime example. The anxious partner's pursuit of closeness triggers the avoidant partner's need for distance, which in turn amplifies the anxious partner's fears of abandonment, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of chase and withdraw. The anxious partner feels perpetually unloved and insecure, while the avoidant partner feels suffocated and misunderstood. This dynamic often leads to immense frustration, resentment, and eventually, the breakdown of the relationship, despite genuine underlying desires for connection from both sides. 6. Identifying attachment styles in yourself and others. So how can you identify these styles in yourself and potential partners? Self-reflection is key. Consider your past relationships. What patterns emerge? Do you tend to become overly anxious when your partner is distant? Do you find yourself pulling away when things get too serious? How do you react to conflict? Are you comfortable expressing your needs directly? Observe your emotional responses to intimacy and perceived threats of abandonment. There are numerous online quizzes and self-assessments that can provide a starting point, but genuine insight comes from deep introspection and honest assessment of your relational behaviors. When it comes to others, pay attention to their actions more than their words, especially in the early stages of dating. Anxious individuals might express intense interest very early on, seem overly eager for commitment, or react strongly to small delays in communication. 7. Healing and shifting towards secure attachment. The good news is that attachment styles are not destiny. While deeply ingrained, they are dynamic and can evolve over time through conscious effort, self-awareness, and relational experiences. This process, often called earned security, involves reparenting oneself and engaging in corrective emotional experiences. For individuals with anxious attachment, healing involves learning to self-soothe, challenging negative thought patterns about abandonment, and developing a stronger sense of self-worth independent of external validation. Practicing mindfulness, setting healthy boundaries, and focusing on personal interests can reduce relationship dependency. For avoidant individuals, the path to security involves gradually increasing tolerance for emotional intimacy, practicing vulnerability, and learning to identify and express their emotional needs. This may involve challenging beliefs that self-sufficiency is the only path to safety, and recognizing the value of interdependence. 8. Building secure relationships. Practical steps. Armed with an understanding of attachment styles, how can you actively build more secure relationships? First, prioritize self-awareness. Reflect on your own patterns and commit to personal growth. If you identify with an insecure style, actively work on the steps towards earned security. Second, choose your partners wisely. While you can't always know someone's attachment style immediately, look for green flags of secure behavior. Consistent communication, emotional availability, respect for boundaries, and a balanced approach to intimacy and independence. Avoid rushing into intense emotional connections before observing these patterns. Third, foster open and honest communication. Secure relationships thrive on direct expression of needs, feelings, and boundaries. Practice active listening and validation. Fourth, learn to navigate conflict constructively. Instead of blaming or withdrawing, approach disagreements as opportunities for mutual understanding and problem solving. Focus on the issue, not the person. If you liked this video, and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.